see. We have time for. We'll do one more real quick, and then Elon Musk. You ready for some Elon?
Oh man, we just got all the weirdos today, don't we?
All the weirdos. It's been like I said. This week was like racism week. So anyway,
Okay, I know it doesn't mean anything to you, but Mercury is no longer in retrograde. It finally went in direct, and now all the weirdos came out of hiding or something. Is that what happened? I don't even know.
I think so. I think that's what happened. So Elon Musk. Here's an interview. So he tweeted some stuff that was questionably racist. We're going to discuss it. I think it is, but we'll go through it. So he tweeted some stuff about George Soros, and then that's the first thing that this guy's going to ask about. He tweeted some stuff about George Soros, who's a billionaire, and George Soros is also known for being more of a progressive kind of billionaire. He gives more progressive causes. I mean, he is more moderate when it comes to fiscal policy and stuff. But the thing about George Soros is also Jewish and a Holocaust survivor. So he gets attacked a lot by the right wing, where they're like, "Oh, George Soros did this," or "George Soros has funded this," or "He's corrupt," or all. Because what they're really saying is the Jews. And there's a reason I think Elon Musk goes after. There's two reasons that Elon Musk goes after him. But I want to show you this tweet here. So this is a guy from CNBC. So this is a financial journalist who's interviewing him. So it's not a comprehensive interview. It's a financial interview. So just go with it.
It's a terrible thing that happened. That's election interference.
But how do you make a choice? You don't see. I mean, in terms of when you're going to engage. I mean, for example, even today, Elon, you tweeted this thing about George Soros. Well, I'm looking for it because I want to make sure I quote it properly. But I mean, you know what you wrote. But you basically.
It reminds me of Magneto. It's like, calm down, people. This is not like made a case out of it.
You also you said he wants to erode the very fabric of civilization, and Soros hates humanity. Like, when you do something like that, do you
I think that's true. That's my opinion.
Okay, but why share it? Why share it?
Okay, so
look at the look on Elon Musk's face right there when he's asked why share it. Like, it's never occurred to him that you could just like have a thought and leave it in your head.
I don't know what the issue is with him. I don't know if he's autistic but he's always seemed a little slow to me. I mean, it's not like he didn't create Tesla. He bought it from the two guys who created it. He bought Twitter. I mean, the guy didn't create anything. He's not a scientist or an inventor. He didn't come up with any of this shit. He just bought the companies. So he's not like he's a genius. And the companies he has now, he's pretty much driven in the ground, and he lost half his fortune in the process. And that's just been in the last, 6-8 months?
Yeah, he's had kind of an interesting, well, I'll round off and call it a year, but he's had a pretty interesting year-ish.
So, first reason I think he's pissed at George Soros is George Soros recently dumped all of his Tesla shares and bailed out. Not that George Soros owned a ton, but he was still a pretty fairly major shareholder. And George Soros basically said, I think it's a worthless investment at this point because it's tied to Elon's reputation, and his reputation's in the toilet. And so I think that's part of why Elon does that. Elon compares him to Magneto. Now, you probably don't know this. It's a comic book called X-Men. Magneto's like a villain sort of character. But in the comic book, I don't know about the comic book, but in the movies, the interesting thing about Magneto is an Auschwitz survivor. And he's fighting for civil rights for mutants, but he's doing it in a much more violent, aggressive way. As where the Professor X character is trying to do it in a more peaceful way. And the comparison...
like the classic civil disobedience versus self-defense method.
Right. And
social justice kind of idea.
Right. And the idea behind the comic book was Magneto's sort of the villain, but he's a sympathetic villain. And him and Xavier are friends. They get along, even though they have to fight each other over these issues. But the thing about it is the idea was Professor Xavier was representing Martin Luther King, and Magneto was representing Malcolm X. Kind of, just the persona-wise.
Sure.
So,
Right. I teach a whole unit about civil disobedience, and both of those men are in it.
oh yeah. People always forget that Martin Luther King Jr. did a lot of civil disobedience stuff. Anyway, but to sit there and compare a Jewish Holocaust survivor to a villain who is also a Jewish Holocaust survivor, and not to make the connection. Of course, he made the connection. That's what this. But the journalist isn't going to get that. The journalist is going to ask him, it's like he did. Well, why would you share that? Because doesn't that affect your shareholders? Which is a good question, but it's the same point. It's like, let's look at the underlying thing about the question is also what you said is pretty fucking racist. It's pretty anti-Semitic. But let's go back into this interview because the interviewer is not going to jump into that.
In simpler terms, though, look at that look on his face. Drag him over here.
Yeah, here.
Look at that look on his face. Like, it has literally never occurred to him that he could just, like, keep a thought to himself.
No. We'll get into that in a second too, because I have a theory about it.
Especially, why share it when people who buy Teslas may not agree with you, advertisers on Twitter may not agree with you. Why not just say, hey, I think this. You can tell me. We can talk about it over there. You can tell your friends. But why share it? Why?
I mean, this is freedom of speech. I'm allowed to say what I want.
You absolutely are. But I'm trying to understand why you do, because you have to know it's got it puts you in the middle of the partisan divide in the country. It makes you a lightning rod for criticism. I mean, do you like that?
Plus, let's look at it this way. This is the thing the guy doesn't ask. If you're going to do it from a financial perspective, okay? You alienate your customer base. I am less likely to want to buy a Tesla if I think I'm supporting an anti-Semite. Because it's not going to be cool when I cruise up to the club in my Tesla and people...
Like, oh, that's your racist car.
Yeah, right. Oh, yeah, that guy's a fucking racist. Then you feel like, oh, I just spent $90,000 on this piece of shit.
They're going to be looking at you like a freaking Nazi or something because of your car, and you're not going to think that's great, especially not one that freaking expensive, ma'am.
Which is crazy because I could drive up in a Mercedes and nobody thinks I'm a Nazi.
Right, but you drive up in a Tesla, everyone's suddenly looking at you being like, is that dude like a Nazi?
Is he like an Elon Musk?
That guy.
Yeah. So that would have been a question I'd ask. Is like you're that and your shareholders. First off, you're the CEO of a company. You have a contractual obligation to protect the interest of your shareholders first, right? And if you're tweeting weird shit like that, and it's costing stock price to go down, I, as a shareholder, have a right to sue you for negligence of maintaining the contract. And I don't think he's thought about it.
I totally want to look at Tesla's stock price right now. I mean, it's Sunday. But
I don't know what it did this week. It's not been.
I don't either.
It's not been doing well, but he's tanked Twitter. I mean, Twitter's in the toilet. Anyway, but we'll go through this a little bit more because it does get a little bit worse, actually. I mean, this is what amazes me. Yeah, I do not think this guy's. I don't think he has the mental capability to run a company.
All right, Tesla's at
people today.
Basically, what?
Is it what?
It's basically at 180. Its 52-week high though is 314.
Oh, ouch.
Yeah, so let's see the past 1 month.
I haven't looked at it.
Yeah, I mean, I can't. It doesn't look to me like exactly what happened there has been. Which date was that?
No, it's tanked. They were at their peak in 2021 was 414.50. They're now at 180.14.
Oh yeah, for sure. They were lower than that though. The 52-week low was $101. So they're above their low, but they're significantly below their high. Way more below their high than above their low.
Oh yeah, no. If you invested in Tesla, you lost over half your money by this point.
Oh yeah, for sure. And Twitter's in the hole too, isn't it?
Oh, Twitter's totally bombed out.
I used to be following Twitter. Did I remove it? I'm just trying to look for it. Apparently, I defollowed what Twitter stock was doing. It was doing so bad, I didn't even have it on a list of interesting things.
I don't even know that you can trade it right now. I think they took it off the list. Anyway, but let's go through the rest of this interview real quick and get this.
And you're saying he's an anti-Semite. I don't think you are.
No, I'm definitely not. I'm like a pro-Semite.
Yeah, that's why we're making Jewish remarks.
A pro-Semite. Oh,
I believe that probably is the case. Yes. But why would you even introduce the idea that would be the case?
I mean, we don't want to make this a George Soros interview.
No, God, no. I don't want to at all. But what I'm trying, even came up though in the annual meeting. I mean, do your tweets hurt the company? Are there Tesla owners who say, I don't agree with his political position and I know it because he shares so much of it? Or are there advertisers on Twitter that Linda Yaccarino will come and say, you got to stop, man. Or, I can't get these ads because of some of the things you tweet.
Okay.
I'm reminded of the scene in The Princess Bride. Great movie.
Great.
Where he confronts the person who killed his father. And he says, offer me money. Offer me power. I don't care.
That's his response. I don't care. You don't care what the shareholders think.
I feel like you don't need a Princess Bride reference to say you don't care. I actually kind of thought we were going somewhere with that.
Well, and here's the funny thing. I've seen that movie like 1,000 times. It's a classic movie, right? He's talking about the scene where Inigo kills the guy who murdered his father, right? He's been looking for the guy for like, whatever it is, 15 years.
Offer me money, offer me power, offer me all these things.
Well, that's the thing, is when he's doing that, he's stabbing the guy and cutting him up and humiliating him and torturing him. When he's doing that, and he says, offer me money, and the guy's begging him, yeah. And he's like, offer me power, yeah. Offer me everything I ever want, right? And the guy's like, everything I have and more. And then the guy tries to make a move, and that's when Inigo finally runs him through and kills him. And the line he says isn't, I don't care. The line he says is, I want my father back, you son of a bitch. That's the line. It's the most famous line in that movie. And he fucked it up. And the thing about it is it's not that he doesn't care. It's that you don't have anything I care about. I care about hurting you because you hurt me. It's a fucking revenge plot. That's all it is. There's no morals. There's no goodness in it. That's just, you killed my father. Now I'm going to cut you up the way you cut me up, and I'm going to fucking run you through.
Well, I'm not going to lie. I feel like Elon Musk failed to make a point. Failing to make a point, Mr. Musk. Failing to make a point.
And misquoting. And the other thing about this is you got to remember, this guy, Elon Musk, he inherited or received a lot of his money from his father. His father owned, I think, was the largest emerald mine in South Africa during apartheid. So his father was essentially a slave owner. And that's how he grew up. And he grew up when his father's anti-Semitic. It's the same thing with like when people at Mel Gibson's father was an open anti-Semite. And you're shocked. This guy he's an acorn that didn't fall that far from the tree. He just is used to having money and buying shit and doing whatever the hell he wants. And here you have this financial guy trying to reason with him, like, well, think about your shareholders, think about your customers, think about your product. Think like a businessman. He's not. He's a little prince. Right? And that I don't care line gives it to you. It's that whole shit that Elizabeth I used to say, which is the law does not apply to princes. I can do whatever I want. Sorry, not in America in the 21st century. Well, I mean, Trump kind of disproves that, but still, it's like you're going to pay some price. But anyway, so that was our fun news segment on racism. We hope you all enjoyed it. Bye.